Thanks for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christina Evans. We now want to shift gears, showing you a live look there in Dallas. Of course, shifting gears to a story that came from over the weekend just outside of Dallas, Texas. Officials say that an 18-year-old woman named Ava Moore was kayaking on a nearby Grapevine Lake there on Sunday. She was killed when a jet ski hit and run. The driver of the jet ski fled the scene with a male, and a search ensued. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton later announced that those two suspects were arrested, and we're now learning much more about who they are. I want to now turn our attention to Fox 4 Dallas reporter David Centendry. He's standing by to give us all of the details and the latest. David, thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. Just break down the very latest, some of those details that are just now coming out.
Yeah, thanks, Christina. Well, just within the past hour, we obtained an arrest warrant affidavit for two suspects. And the person who was driving that jet ski apparently was operating it at a very high rate of speed around swimmers and kayakers. And we've learned that Ava Moore, who was on her kayak, was actually trying to get away from that jet ski just because it appears it was being reckless on the lake. Then she was struck from behind. The operator of that jet ski actually got away, but not before a photo was taken of her and shared with law enforcement, who have just blasted it across social media here in North Texas.
The police came and they went to that house right there.
Oak Cliff neighbors rattled Tuesday morning as law enforcement surrounded a home off Atlas Drive.
I don't really care what people do around me. I don't care if it's cops involved, SWAT involved, whatever. I just mind my own business.
But while trying to stay to himself, Angel Gonzalez could not help hear authorities demand two people, reportedly on the run from a deadly lake crash, surrender.
I mean, everything that our officers and all the agencies have been doing is for Ava Moore.
18-year-old Ava Moore, a recent U.S. Air Force Academy preparatory school graduate, was killed after being struck by a jet ski while kayaking on Grapevine Lake Sunday.
And then I heard someone in the crowd say she hit someone. And so I automatically turned around to go back toward the water because I was concerned.
Lisa Scrayback, there as a group pulled Moore from the lake.
You know, we just started life-saving measures, checking her pulse at that time.
But Moore passed away, and the woman on the jet ski fled.
I turned around to look at the water, and I could see her and the passenger on the jet ski going away from the incident, and they were waving toward like their people, and you could tell they were trying to get away.
Someone shared this photo of the suspect with Texas game wardens, who released it to the public. It's shared thousands of times across social media. Tuesday morning, authorities identified her as Dicarolyn Alejandro Gonzalez Gonzalez. Attorney General Ken Paxton says she was in the country illegally, and we saw immigration officials on scene early Tuesday. Gonzalez was located inside this Oak Cliff home. A woman renting here, who does not want to show her face, says several rooms inside are rented. She claims she first saw Gonzalez Monday night with a man who lives there.
It seemed like her photo was so clear that she would just be caught very soon.
Gonzalez, now in custody for the death of Moore, according to game wardens. On top of that, Grapevine police say Mikel Coelho Perozzo, also a reported illegal immigrant from Venezuela, will face additional charges for a vehicle crash while driving away from the lake with Gonzalez.
Where they crashed into two different vehicles and got out of the car and ran away.
Had some Oak Cliff neighbors known they were reportedly hiding next door, they say they would have called 911.
I would probably try to tip them off and tell them that they were here.
So Gonzalez is facing several charges, the most significant being manslaughter. Texas game wardens, who are the lead on this investigation, plan to have a press conference tomorrow morning where we are expected to hear more information about what led to this arrest and some possible new charges. Christina?
And
All right. We can stop that right there. Good morning. Peace and blessings. It's your boy Jay Taylor, and I'm back with another video. You know what I'm saying? And as the title says, the first part of the title, another unaliving, another illegal unaliving, right? And we just saw that in real time. So at this juncture, yesterday I dropped a video talking about an illegal immigrant that unalived a young lady by the name of Larissa Thompson in South Carolina. Well, it was 6 of them that tried to rob this 40-year-old black woman. Robbery went bad when she driving down the street, and then they shot up the car and unalived her. And then turn around the next day, we got this story about this young lady, 18-year-old Ava Moore. So rest in peace to Ava Moore. And she was kayaking in the water, and an illegal immigrant ran her over and continued to try to get away and evade what she had done. Gets in the car with another illegal immigrant. They trying to hurry up and get away, and they run into some other people and get out and run. So when I tell you that these people don't even belong in our country and are unaliving people on a daily basis, you are seeing this in real time. You're seeing this in real time, man. Rest in peace, Larissa Thompson. Rest in peace, Ava Moore. She was 18 years old. Larissa Thompson was 40 years old. And I'm going to continue to show these clips because the mainstream media is quiet on these situations because it does not fit their narrative. I'm going to stand on that. Now, when people want to criticize me for constantly reporting on this stuff, you see why. Because the mainstream media ain't doing it, so somebody got to do it. Right? But rest in peace to Ava Moore, 18-year-old young lady, and rest in peace to Larissa Thompson, 40-year-old mother, you know? Just heartbreaking, man, because these people would still be here if these illegal immigrants weren't in our country. Blood is on the hands of the Biden-Harris administration for allowing people to just come over here unvetted and commit heinous crimes like this. Unbelievable. And if I was an illegal immigrant, I don't even know why they still here. I would have been trying to get up out of here knowing how ICE and Donald Trump coming down. They coming down. You know what I'm saying? So if you an illegal immigrant, I wouldn't even feel comfortable. You know, because ICE out here, man, they looking for you, man. Just do the right thing, man, and take your butt back home. For real, or get your affairs in order. But any event, like the title says, chaos in LA erupts. That's the second part of this title. And man, when I tell you, LA, what's happening in LA and what's happening in Chicago with these riots on the weekend, it's only happening in sanctuary cities that are democratic cities. These are the only cities that we having these issues in. And I wonder why. It looked like Chicago on the weekend in this city. Look at this mess, man. Hold on, man. I want y'all to look at this and tell me this don't look parallel to what happens in Chicago.
Turning now to a mob of people rampaging through downtown LA, tagging police cars and vandalizing metro trains.
Takeout News reporter Lauren Posen is downtown with the video and the damage left behind.
There's a lot of damage, and while it may look like this is a deserted strip mall, it's not. There's businesses here, and nearly every single business you're looking at has freshly tagged graffiti right on it. And so while this is where it all ended, it actually started right across the street from where we are. Pure mayhem in downtown Los Angeles. A huge mob of people started tagging whatever and wherever they could Saturday night on Trinity Avenue near Washington Boulevard. Watch as a group begins spray painting 2 Metro trains. Metro says around 50 people blocked the train's path, tagging not only the outside but the inside of one of the trains too. A patrol car was also hit as the officer tried to drive away. A person who witnessed the chaos says it happened right after LAPD shut down a rooftop event.
There was a show by Dead City Punk, and there was easily over like 3,000 people there. And we were on top of a parking lot. So what ended up happening is that it got too crazy, it got too crowded.
One person at the show shared this video that shows what he's talking about.
There was people with hairsprays, and then they had like the lighter, so it was kind of like a flamethrower basically.
LAPD showed up in riot gear and declared an unlawful assembly, but the crowd didn't back down.
The reason why the cops started pushing forward is because people were messing with the cops. They were antagonizing them. They threw fireworks at them. They were throwing water bottles, beer cans, anything you can think of. They were throwing stuff.
Witnesses say police fired rubber bullets at the crowd, which eventually cleared out. People who were there admit it did get out of control, but they also say that's part of the appeal of these shows.
That's kind of like the energy of those type of shows. People are just gonna go there to just let out all the frustration.
No, that's totally unacceptable, dude. What do you mean? What do you mean? You got people over there sitting up there, no regard for the police, destroying property, destroying your own businesses, graffiti everywhere, and it got the nerve to be a sanctuary city. No regard for law enforcement. Now, when someone loses their life by forcing the police hands, you see them all on top of the squad cars doing all this harassment to police officers, man. Ain't no release, no frustration. Go to the gym and work out, dude. What are you talking about? That's how you release the frustration. Go find you a female and go chill and knock her down. That's how you knock off some frustration. You don't go out here and antagonize the police. You asking for it. And you lucky they was using rubber bullets on y'all. Because that don't even make no sense, man. And like I said, we see the same thing going on in Chicago on the weekend where they tearing up downtown for no reason. It's these sanctuary cities, these Democratic-ran cities, these blue states, Chicago and Los Angeles, where the youth show out like this. You go to a concert, go enjoy the concert, and go home. What do you mean? You don't behave like that. And then when something happens, because you antagonize the police, you're going to be crying all the police. They doing so wrong to our people, man. Come on, man. Knock it off, man.
And anger that they have built from life, family, society. There was a lot of damage done, and that wasn't right.
Metro says no one was hurt, but service was delayed about 20 minutes. No arrest either, but police tell us they're investigating. Reporting in downtown Los Angeles, Lauren Posen, KCAL News.
Ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous, man. Like, y'all see that, man. Like, ain't no excuse for that. You know? Where is the leadership in LA? Where's Gavin Newsom, the governor? Since he want to be a sanctuary city so bad, where's Mayor Bass at? You know, the two people, the mayor and the governor. The mayor was gone to Africa when the wildfires hit a few months back in California, and it decimated everybody that was in a certain region of Los Angeles. Failed Democratic leadership. Once again, how many times do we have to remind you? It's insane, bro. It's insane. But let's get to some good news. While they dealing with all that, you know what I'm saying? The rest in peace to Ava Moore. Rest in peace to Larissa Thompson. Let's get to a little bit of good news, man. Now, President Donald Trump commutes Larry Hoover's sentence. Wonderful news, man. Larry Hoover has been incarcerated since 1953. That man been in prison for 52 years. So he has 6 life sentences on the federal level, and he has 200 years on the state level. So basically what Trump has done, shout out to Kanye West and attorney Jennifer Bonjean, what Trump has basically done is eliminated the 6 life sentences because he had 6 life sentences without the possibility of parole. So Trump eliminated those 6 life sentences and gave him the possibility of parole on the federal level. So now what needs to happen is the governor of Illinois, Governor Pritzker, needs to pardon Larry Hoover. That man need to come home, man. That man didn't unalive nobody. They saying he gave the order or whatever, but at the end of the day, that man been in jail 50 years. He's 75, almost 80 years old, man. 23 and 1, lock up. Come on, man. Free Larry. You know what I'm saying? Free Larry Hoover. So let's get into this. Now that I broke that down, let's get into this, man. Because I was misinformed saying that he was pardoned. Well, he actually is pretty much pardoned on the federal level, if you think about it, because he could get parole, you know. Commute the sentence mean that he lessened it. Because 6 life sentences. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. Let's go.
The former lead prosecutor in Larry Hoover's federal case reacting this afternoon with disappointment, telling us there are just some offenders and crimes that are not deserving of clemency, and Hoover falls in that category. But this afternoon, President Trump disagreeing, commuting Hoover's 6 life sentences on federal convictions to time served. Hoover still faces, however, a 200-year state sentence on a 1973 murder conviction, so it appears he won't be getting out of prison, at least in the near term. It was while behind bars serving time for that murder that federal prosecutors say he continued overseeing the Chicago Gangster Disciples, a gang that he co-founded. And in 1997, he was convicted of running a criminal enterprise. But Hoover's attorney says over the years, Hoover has been rehabilitated and written numerous letters talking about his experience, how he turned to crime, and the good he can do in steering young people away from a similar fate.
He is being held because he is a symbol, not because he needs further incarceration or he hasn't been rehabilitated. He's been a model prisoner for many, many years. He's been examined. He has been determined to be no risk.
If Larry Hoover said there was going to be a killing, there was a killing. If Larry Hoover said there was going to be a beating, there was a beating.
Hold on, dude. Now you sound stupid as hell. Larry Hoover been in prison 52 years. What you mean? If they gonna be a shooting, he ain't been on the streets and he ain't been on the streets since the 70s, bro. The early 70s. See, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. And I bet you this dude a Democrat with all this nonsense. Boy, if it's one thing I don't like, it's the Democratic Party. What are you talking about? If he said it's going to be a shooting, then it'll be a shooting. If he said it's going to be a beating, then it's going to be a beating. Get so, man, boy, that's what I tell you about these dang old Democrats. Allegedly. I'm alleged he's a Democrat. Because only a Democrat would say something stupid like that.
If Larry Hoover said there was going to be a drug deal, there was a drug deal.
Hoover's case has drawn the attention of a number of advocates and public figures, including Chance the Rapper and Kanye West. Hoover is currently serving time in Colorado, but with that state sentence, he'll likely be moved at some point to a prison in Illinois.
Right. So we get the gist of that, man. We get the gist of that. Man, I'm going to go ahead and stop that one. I got another one on my roll since I want to act funny all of a sudden. You know? But yeah, man. Man, shout out to Donald Trump for, time considered served, bro, basically. You know, that man been in there so long. It's ridiculous, man. You know, and that's just inhumane at this point. Let him get home and spend the rest of his years and be able to, you know, enjoy fresh air for the remainder of his time. He's no threat to nobody. And actually might do the community some good. You know what I'm saying? But we got all this out here, might mobilize some of the younger guys. You know what I'm saying? To want to get some law and structure back in the streets of Chicago. You feel me? It could only be a blessing. And especially his family, you know. It's crazy, man. But yeah, man, let's get a little bit more clarity on that since that last clip was tripping on me. Yeah, let's do that.
We begin with breaking news. He was once one of the most notorious gangsters in Chicago. Tonight, President Trump is commuting the federal sentence of Gangster Disciples co-founder Larry Hoover.
Suzanne Lemonniot is in our newsroom. Suzanne, this move doesn't mean he'll be getting out of prison.
Erica, Joe, legal experts see this as a potential hollow victory. Now, while Hoover may be released from federal prison, he still has a 200-year state sentence for which a parole board has already denied early release. In 1993, Hoover spoke to former CBS News Chicago reporter John Davis, and at that time, Hoover was 42 years old and had already served 20 years in prison.
I've done my time. I paid my debt to society.
That was Larry Hoover, more than 3 decades ago. At that time, the leader of the Gangster Disciples and convicted murderer told our John Davis he had a lot of time to think about ways to stop the gang violence on the streets of Chicago.
One teenager don't like the other teenager because the way he wears his hat, because his ideology is different from his. A disciple don't like a vice lord. We all black people. It's no different.
At that time, Hoover, also known as King Larry, admitted being part of a fragile gang truce in the city and organizing a protest over plans to close healthcare clinics in African-American neighborhoods. Ron Safer, the lead prosecutor in Hoover's federal trial, reacts to news Hoover's life sentence has been commuted by President Trump.
I was disappointed. I do not think that this is an appropriate end to the Larry Hoover story, at least the federal part of it.
Safer says Hoover was perhaps the most notorious criminal the state of Illinois has ever known.
He was convicted of running a continuing criminal enterprise that had approximately 30,000 members across 28 states, selling over $100 million worth of drugs in the state of Illinois.
This dude again, man. Oh my God. Can I pass him up, man? Nobody want to hear all that. Let me see if I can get past you.
Ruthless efficiency from prison, where he was serving a state sentence for double murder.
Safer also told us about Hoover being recorded, saying teenagers needed to sell drugs for his criminal organization. The recording was made a year after the Gangster Disciple leader was interviewed on CBS Chicago.
There was another tape where Larry Hoover said, you have to share your drugs with these children. And I'm talking about 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old, so that they can sell it and they can have something. And he said, make them know that with you, they are somebody. And without you, they are nobody.
Meantime, shortly after the commutation announcement, Hoover's son posted this picture on Instagram. That's a White House official holding a copy.
Now there go Alice Marie Johnson. Trump's pardons are, man. They working. They working, man. They working. Shout out to Alice Marie. You know, I did some coverage on her the other day as well.
Of the commutation. Hoover's attorneys say they're thrilled he's going to be released from federal custody, but again, he still has a 200-year sentence to serve for his crimes in Illinois. In the newsroom, Suzanne Lemonniot, CBS News, Chicago.
All right. So the feds, you know, the federal part, that's, hey, man, that's a win. That's a win. You know what I'm saying? We'll take it. We'll take that, man, you know. So shout out to Donald Trump fucking Kanye West, Jennifer Bajin, which is also R. Kelly's attorney. Jennifer Bajin was Bill Cosby attorney that helped get him out. You know, so man, free the guys, man. Free the guys, man. Especially, you know, somebody been in there 50 years, bro. That's ridiculous. And they still trying to talk about what he used to do when he was 20. Man, 70, almost 80 years old, man. Ridiculous. Now, the state of Illinois, Governor Pritzker, I don't know. He a Democrat. But I'm going to speak it into existence. I think Kanye West would be the perfect person to go and holler at the governor of Illinois. You know what I'm saying? On behalf of Larry Hoover. Because, you know, Pritzker and Trump don't see eye to eye. So maybe they can make something happen or get some time to serve on the state level. And let that man come home, man. Free Larry, man, till it's backwards. You know? But Trump also, he been pardoning a lot of people, man. And one other pardon that he did today, it's been an eventful day. You know what I'm saying? I seen he pardoned a TV host couple. I forgot their name. And he also pardoned NBA YoungBoy. You know what I'm saying? So let's bring that clip up here, man. Trump out here freeing the guys. Bring them all home, man. Bring them home, man. Get out that jam, dog. So yeah, man. Let's check this out. I don't know why this volume down.
Just into the Fox 13 newsroom, Louisiana rap artist NBA YoungBoy says he's been pardoned by President Trump after being sentenced by a Utah judge to 2 years in federal prison on gun-related charges last November. The rapper, whose real name is Kentrell Gaulden, announced on social media he is among several people pardoned by the president this week. Last year, Gaulden acknowledged having possessed weapons despite being a convicted felon. He reached an agreement to resolve all state charges against him and pleaded guilty to 2 federal charges.
All right.
Just into the Fox 13 news.
All right, yeah, so we can stop that right there. Man, yeah, man. Blessings on top of blessings. Hey, everybody deserve another chance, man, if they ain't, you know. If you ain't out here doing certain things like raping children or unaliving people, innocent people, like certain things, man, you deserve a second chance. You just got caught up in the rapture, and they worked something out with him on the state level. So they knew he had state and federal. So the state and the feds came together and they made it happen for him, man. I'm happy for him and his family, man. So shout out to NBA YoungBoy. Trump out here working, man. Trump out here working, man. But yeah, just want to come to y'all, bring y'all some content for the day. We gonna stay on top of these illegal immigrants as far as them doing heinous crimes and unaliving young women out here. Seem like primarily, you know, but everybody, you know, anybody, you know, that has to lose their life at the hands of a person that's not even supposed to be in our country it's already bad enough. But then you think like this could have easily been avoided if they did the right thing by, you know, protecting our borders. But what say you? Drop it in the comment section. You already know it's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Peace and blessings.